But it is fun watching John Wall play basketball again. I very much miss John Wall playing basketball, and him playing the way he has to this point. It's very encouraging. That's an encouraging sign.
It is, and I've known John, since he came into the league because I covered
Mhm.
him his rookie year, and I know what basketball means to him, and I know how passionate he is about the game, how much he loves the game, how much it means to him, how much he studies the game, watches the game. I mean, ball is life for John Wall, and to
Mhm.
not have it, for most of the last 4 years because of injuries and that whatever that nonsense was in Houston last year. I know he wants to be on the floor. He wants to be relevant and playing again and having fun. So for me to watch him, back, considering all that he's had to overcome the last couple of years, losing his grandmother and mother and, going through depression. And I'm just happy to see him out there having fun again.
We'll end on this. Anthony Davis is a Laker past the trade deadline. Actually, I'm going to throw two out. Anthony Davis and LeBron are Lakers post NBA trade deadline this year.
Well, LeBron he can't be traded.
Oh, I thought he had no trade clause, but he actually just can't be traded this year.
He can't be traded because once he signed that extension, they can't move him at all.
Okay.
So he's stuck for at least this year.
Okay.
AD, I don't know, because I don't know what you can get for Anthony Davis right now. And the way he's playing, I wouldn't push the button on the trade until he has at least, a 20
game. Speaking of bad backs.
Yeah.
Like, I get better with age.
Can I get a 20-game stretch of you out there playing at a high level? Like, because what the Lakers gave up for him, they're going to have to try to get some of that back. Got to recoup some of that. And if you're a team that says, okay, we're Anthony Davis away, what are you willing to give up, knowing that he's had back injuries and that he's had all of these injuries that seem to come up, at poor times? I'm not sure. Like, I think the Lakers are in a really tough spot. They're in the worst position that they could possibly be as an organization because there's no hope. There's no chance that they're going to get better because they're a bad team. And this is the worst part of it all. The pick goes to New Orleans.
Yeah.
So even if they wind up winning the lottery, New Orleans is going to have a chance to have Victor Wembanyama and Zion Williamson for the next 20.
I wonder if they keep that, though. That's a lot of young talent and keeping a lot of personalities happy. Like, I don't know if Zion strikes me as the person who's willing to be like, yeah, I'm willing to do a co-star that was my biggest thing with Trey. When you brought in DeJounte Murray, I was like, I'm not saying it's not going to work. I am saying that Trae Young is very happy being the center of attention and being the guy that everything runs through. And it's just a huge change.
We're talking about different levels of player here.
Yes.
And we're talking about how you got a 7'3" kid who can step out and shoot threes and stretch the floor.
I mean, Zion's just special in a different way.
Everything Zion does is right at the rim. So they wouldn't get in each other's way.
Mm-hmm.
And all they would do is just elevate each other. And it would, I don't know. I don't want to wish the worst on the Lakers and see them.
Yeah. You don't have it's not even wishing. It's just there's no path. It's kind of like what you laid out. It's like there's no path.
I think that the issue that the Lakers have is that even if you trade Anthony Davis, the return, I don't believe it'll be like it'd be worse than say trying to get a Kevin Durant trade done, because there's so many questions about what he really is going to be going forward. Because people, I mean, he's like a year or two older than like Giannis and Embiid. Like, you don't think of him being that young, but he's right there with them. You know, in terms of being a young guy who should be playing at that MVP level. This should be Anthony Davis's time. Like, this should be the time that he's dominating. He's 29. Like, he should be, a force in the league. You shouldn't be somebody you're talking about trading, not because because you don't want him anymore. Like, that shouldn't be the case. And the fact that he's in this position, it just lets you know how bad the Lakers have mismanaged their time with him and LeBron. You had two of the top 75 players, two of the greatest players of all time on your roster. And you got a championship in the bubble. But since then, you haven't done anything right to make sure that you can, maximize the time that you have with them. And it's shameful, because as Laker fans, they deserve better, right? If you have those two guys, you deserve better. You deserve to build a team that that can win a championship. And they just made so many mistakes, getting rid of young players before their time, making bad trades, trading guys who were an essential part of your locker room, cutting them, doing whatever. just not really valuing, what goes into building a team. And now you're just throwing slop out there. And it's been so bad that now you're in a position where should we trade Anthony Davis when that's just to me, I just go back to Laker management and just how they've totally botched it with LeBron and having LeBron. You have a LeBron and AD on your team, and you can't win. And you got Russell Westbrook, who you shouldn't have traded for in the first place, but he's still a really good player.
Doing great stuff off the bench.
But
that's it. Like
none of the
pieces
been
awful. Like I don't know what happened to Pat Bev in LA.
I mean, I think they're gonna have a point where they're gonna have to just blow it up.
Yeah.
Can
we flip Pat Bev and D'Lo? Can we just go ahead and flip those two? Let's get D'Lo back in LA and flip Pat Bev where he belongs in Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that trade doesn't sound too exciting for me.
D'Lo's days are not long for.
If I'm Minnesota, I would need a more traditional point guard. I don't know if I need Pat Bev.
Did you see the D'Lo not be on the floor? Oh my god!
Yeah, he didn't realize that he was supposed to substitute at that point.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Minnesota is not. They should be more fun than they are.
Yeah, but, they're my most wrong team. I think from the preseason, I had them winning, being the number 1 seed in the West. Where I was like, I don't know what they're going to be in the Western Conference like playoffs, but with the upside of Anthony Edwards, who I think is going to be the best player in basketball in the next 2 years, I still think that's coming. And you look at Edwards, and I was like, the leap's still coming with him, and what we saw in the playoffs, and just where he's going. Cat, Gobert.
I thought they were too quick to do the Gobert trade.
I just thought they were too old. Like Gobert raised their regular season ceiling so much, where I'm like, they're just going to gobble up so many regular season wins. Kind of like what the Nuggets have done with Jokic and company, where I'm like, I don't know if they'll ever get to the finals, but that roster looks like a regular season juggernaut to me.
I just didn't like the trade because I thought they gave up too much for Rudy, and I don't know if he was the piece that's gonna take you to that next level. I just didn't see him as the missing piece. When I watched them lose to Memphis last year in the playoffs, I wasn't sitting there saying, "Man, if only they had Rudy Gobert, this series would be much different." No, I thought that they needed, just they need to let Anthony Edwards grow.
Yeah,
like he should be their best player. Cat should be playing off of him. And then kind of see what other pieces you can add around them. But those two guys have to be at the forefront of what you're building, especially Anthony Edwards. And Rudy Gobert, I don't see him. I didn't like the pairing of him and Cat. I didn't think it was a good pairing because then you put Cat in a bad position where he has to guard the perimeter, and he does not. I mean, he's nimble, but not that nimble. Like he's not like Anthony Davis on defense, a young Anthony Davis who could move around and, guard 5 positions. He runs around, like you could fake him out quickly. And that was just a mistake. I'm not, I mean, maybe they could turn it around. They're not at the total bottom, but I think their upside was diminished by that trade more so than taken to a higher level. So, but back to your original question, I think eventually the Lakers are going to have to trade him and Russ. It's just I think they got to at least go for a while because then you're just going to have LeBron out there in a much worse situation than he was.
We're going to see LeBron shut it down. We're already seeing like little signs that the leg and everything else. LeBron is getting ready to do a college tour with Bronny and go to Oregon, and you'll see LeBron at all these different colleges checking out different.
He's got to break Kareem's record first. So I think that if you're the Lakers,
that would be hilarious though. If he waits till right then, and the next day it's like LeBron's having season ending.
I mean, there's a chance. I mean, what's this? Is he supposed to break it in like January or so?
Yeah, it's January.
So if he breaks the record right before the trade deadline, he could get Kareem's record. And then it's like, all right, LeBron, what do you want to do the rest of the year? It's like, all right, I got the record.
Yeah.
I can shut it down. Y'all can trade 80 and then and Russ, and then you rebuild, and then we'll talk about next year and what we do in the off season. But for now, let me get the record with these guys here, and then we'll discuss where everybody else gets moved. Because if you're a team trying to trade for AD, his value couldn't be any lower than it is right now, and maybe by January. He might, pique somebody's interest, or maybe there might be a desperation from some other organizations. Like, you know what, we got to roll the dice and just go for it. So it's early, but who knows what happens? Yeah, once LeBron gets that record, I think everything's on the table.
LeBron's too smart. Where I think he knows I told people on this program like 2 years ago where I was like, I think LeBron's already played his last important NBA game. And I think deep down he knows that like he got it out of AD, the back
Yep.
stuff. LeBron knows the body stuff. LeBron knows what he can get out of this roster. He knew after the Westbrook trade and that was going, he's like, oh, we're out of assets. Like he saw it in Miami where at the end he was like, okay, they've run out of moves to make. Like I can only do so much. I've maximized my time. He sees 8 pieces ahead. Like he knows where things are going. And there was a reason he's brought up the Bronny stuff so much, I think, and playing with him is I really think LeBron is at peace with his MVPs, with the titles, because I think he also knows that he'll never be the best player on another title team. I think he looks at all of this of like, whatever happens, happens. I'm doing movies, I'm directing, I've got my hand in all these different things. But ultimately, like my kids are about to leave the nest. Like I've got Bronny getting ready to go to college. You got Bryce, who looks like he's the better of the two. Like he's going to be getting a lot of college visits, and he'll have to monitor like how that works with NIL and people. He just strikes me as a family guy dad who is ready to transition to that part of his life. And when he gets to play with Bronny, that's it. I think he's at peace. And I looked at it, and I'm like, I think LeBron knows that this is all ending, and that he was joking about with one of the Lakers reporters last night. They're like 2-9, tough stop, and he's like, "Yeah,
Captain
you think it's
Obvious.
tough? Yeah." And you look at, but he's saying with a smile. He's not mad. Like the
Oh
vibe I
no,
get from LeBron, he's not mad. I think he's at peace with everything.
I don't know. I have to disagree with you on that one too.
Okay.
Primarily because one thing that I can say is that I have mistakenly bet against LeBron a couple times and come
Yeah.
away looking pretty foolish for it. One time when he was down 3-1 against the Warriors, I thought they were done. The other time was when they lost into 2018, and I was in 2016. I thought they were gonna go down in 5. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, they probably should have if Draymond didn't get suspended, but that's another conversation. But and then 2018, I said that I wrote a column that basically said that Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant were going to be the reason why LeBron went another title, because Kyrie left him and KD's going to keep winning. And then, but then I then go this first year in LA. It was sort of easy to assume that he was just there. The Hollywood lifestyle was just going to take over, and he wasn't really trying to win. But LeBron doesn't really think that way. I mean, he knows how to play the game and try to, you see how he gets caught lying a lot, in terms of like what he likes to share, because he likes to be every man there, everybody, and sort of, and he wants to come across as humble to some people, but that guy, he's a really intense competitor, and I don't think that he would step out on the floor without thinking that, one, I'm the best player on the court. He still believes that. Even if he's like, I'm limited and I can't do what I used to do, I don't think he can admit it to himself that he's not that guy. And I think that part of the reason why AD, probably wasn't able to take the reins in LA is because he still knows that LeBron doesn't see himself as the second wheel and never will.
Yeah.
When you're that great, and when you've been in this position that he's been in for 20 years, you can't mentally check out to be something else. Think about Michael Jordan when he was 40 years old.
Yeah.
He was playing and he was old. You think he went to Washington thinking that he was going to be playing second fiddle to anybody?
But do you think they're wired the same? You think LeBron and MJ are wired the same like that?
I think he's wired in that way more than we want to give him credit.
Hmm.
I think it's a convenient storyline to say he's not wired the way MJ is.
I don't think it's negative when people say that. Like they use that as a slight at LeBron. I don't think it's a slight. I think
it's not.
okay.
I mean, he definitely has a different mentality. He's not the same. I mean, Jordan is much more ruthless with it.
Yeah.
But I still think that LeBron's an incredible competitor. You're not in position to be the all-time leading scorer. This record has been standing for 40 years. You're not in position to be a guy who could potentially retire with 40,000 career points, 10,000 rebounds, and 10,000 assists. You're going to be a career triple quintuple, right?
Yeah.
That's what he's going for.
He's
going for a triple quintuple, which has never been done. Like you can't.
But those are all individual stats, though, right? Like he's looking at it, like checking those boxes before the end, before Father Time catches him. I don't think he's checking the championship boxes anymore.
I don't think that's. I think he knows that this team isn't good enough.
Yeah, and he's
But I
not
don't.
though, right? So
But
then at
yeah,
the very least, he's looking at age 39 is when he's able to like play a meaningful finals game because turns 38 in December. So if he
yeah,
can't get traded till the next year, then he's looking at turning 39, and then we're just like, it's one thing to be the quarterback in Tom Brady and be playing in your mid 40s and being at the elite level, winning a Super Bowl in your 40s. We haven't seen that in the NBA ever. We haven't seen the best player
yeah.
on a title team be 39 years old. We've
I mean,
never seen.
I think when you reach the point and you play on really bad teams, you
Yeah.
find other ways to motivate yourself. He does
Mm-hmm.
still have a record to chase. That gives him a
Right.
purpose for this season. But I have a hard time thinking that he's not wondering how I can get a championship before it's all said and done while I'm still here. Because winning one in LA ain't enough. Even though he won that championship, he never had a parade in LA.
Yeah.
And that wasn't his fault. That was COVID's fault. But he still has never had a parade in LA.
Well,
And
you
I
know who he's
know,
texting then. You know what's happening here. And this was something I said a year and a half ago that I still think is a possibility. The extension kind of clouds it a little bit, Michael. But James Jones, his close friend, GM of the Suns, obviously CP. I I always thought that he would eventually, like once the Ayton contract got made, like whenever that was, when Ayton got paid, that was what they were waiting on. Is LeBron playing the 5 to end his career as a center, gets to play with Chris Paul for the first time at the end, gets to go with James Jones right out into the sunset with Devin Booker, who he would respect and love,
oh
and the
yeah,
scoring, what he would provide there, and he's durable.
again,
Ayton for LeBron this summer would not surprise me whatsoever if that's how he ended it.
I don't know if that's how it goes, but I do think that in his mind, he is already calculating the next move.
Yeah.
He's calculating what can I do to win the championship? Because see what we didn't realize in 2018, like he knew that the run in Cleveland was over, but he already knew that when he goes to LA, what are they gonna do? I'm gonna get AD here. Like I'm coming. Like I already know I can get AD here. We're gonna make sure that. And what did AD do? Acted a plum fool that year, in New Orleans. Quit on that team so he could get traded to LA.
But he was right because no one remembers that. It's just us who remembers this stuff. No,
Yeah.
It's just us and then Pelicans fans. But everyone else just forgets. He's like,
Yeah.
y'all forget. I don't care. Like none of this matters.
But I'm saying, like, LeBron was already plotting.
Yeah.
So while this season is lost, I do not believe for a second that he's not plotting a way to win a championship. And he knows exactly what I just said. You gotta